All right, I'd like to call the EPS meeting to order for this evening for November 12th, 2025. We have a full agenda with great information. Thank you to everybody that is here. And we're going to jump right into a CKLA update.
Yeah, thank you so much. So this evening we have with us two of our principals. Mrs. Schlosser wasn't able to join us, and I know both Mr. Davis and Mrs. Colley have some other plans for this evening, so I put them first on the agenda. We asked for them just to come up and share with the committee an update about CKLA. You hear a lot from me. Not that you ever get tired or exhausted of hearing my voice. It's always great to hear from others. So if Marie and Scott can come on up, that would be great.
Hi.
Hello.
Good evening. So we're going to start out with what's exciting, and that's that we've had the trainer visit all 3 elementary buildings, and just kind of wanted to share, and I'm going to read it, I don't know if you can see that, for what she said about each building. She went through each building for a day, did observations in many classrooms, and also provided a model lesson. So I saw some amazing CKLA instruction happening at Springfield. All grade levels are using instructional materials appropriately. Students are staying organized. Teachers are following lesson segment routines, using creative strategies to keep students engaged during the longer segments. Some strategies that stood out to me were getting students up and acting out key words. There's so much vocabulary in the text, as well as allowing students to read around the room with their partners and then switch if they felt the space or grouping was unproductive. These teachers have great classroom management procedures in place. Students are working enthusiastically with the curriculum. It was clear that all teachers are spending adequate time unpacking and preparing for their lessons and teaching them with fidelity. The school aligns with the initial implementation phase as a whole, but many classrooms are making steps towards full operation very quickly. I'll just read Tinicum, and
Sure.
then, so that was Springfield. Tinicum is doing a wonderful job of implementing CKLA. I can see that everyone is working together to support students using M-Class and Boost Reading. Teachers are very happy with Boost. Students are excited to use it. Most teachers feel that pacing is not an issue in this school. When it comes to assessments, many feel that having 2 days to give the assessment as well as the 3rd day to review that assessment will be beneficial. The stamina required and the structure of these longer assessments is new to students, so they may need more time to adjust. And then Durham.
And at Durham, implementation is going well at Durham, Knox-and-Mixon. All grade levels are using instructional materials appropriately, and students are staying organized. Teachers are following lesson segment routines and using various strategies to keep students engaged during the lesson. Students are being asked to complete rigorous tasks independently when appropriate, which is great to see. It was clear that all teachers are spending adequate time unpacking and preparing for their lessons and teaching them with fidelity. The school aligns with the initial implementation phase as a whole, but many classrooms are making steps towards full operation very quickly, which is good news. And so the visit that she had with us for the day was very helpful for our teachers, really focused on grades 3, 4, and 5 for this visit. So time was well spent. We got a chance to go into a 4th grade classroom as well to see some of her modeling and demonstrating, which was awesome.
And the same coach will be back 3 more times in each building. So a total of 4 visits, 4 full day visits over the course of this year from that same coach.
And the next one's December 12th, is the week like after Thanksgiving. So she's coming back, and we look forward to having opportunities to sit and talk with her as principals, teachers. We've had all kinds of meeting sessions, and whatever she can answer, she goes to CKLA and gets the information to us. So just to kind of give you a reminder of the way the program is set up so you know what the kids are doing. So CKLA stands for Core Knowledge English Language Arts, and we're doing this across all elementary, K to 5. So K to 2 has what's called a knowledge segment and then a skill. So I'm just going to briefly share with you what the knowledge piece is. And that's about 60 minutes every day. So this is the piece that builds background knowledge, language, vocabulary through read-alouds, discussions, focuses on comprehension, text analysis, vocabulary, writing, speaking, and listening skills. Read-alouds are used with digital flip books so students can have visuals to accompany each text. So when the read-aloud is a higher level text, so kids are looking at different pictures and images and different things like that because they don't know those words yet, they're listening. develops content knowledge across subjects like science, history, and literature. That's been probably one of the most exciting parts of this curriculum. The kids are loving it. They're so into the science and social studies. In fourth grade, I know they were doing what do you call it? The Middle Ages, and kids came dressed up, on Halloween as middle-aged characters. Develops content knowledge across, we just said that, includes literary and informational texts, and builds a base knowledge that makes connections within and across levels. So that's what K-2 looks like, 60 minutes a day. Marie's going to tell you about the skills part.
Right, so K-2 also has the skills portion, which provides systematic explicit instruction and foundational reading and writing skills. Teaches phonological awareness, phonics, letter sound correspondence. It includes the spelling, grammar, and handwriting instruction. It's neat to see in kindergarten where the kids are learning strokes without letters at all, but strokes, which then leads into how to make letters properly. So that's neat to see. Uses 100% decodable text and align with taught phonics patterns. We actually had a team meeting today, and our kindergarten teacher is totally wowed that all of her kindergarten students are able to read the text. So looking at CBC, simple patterns, but even they're set up as, they're designed as chapter books, so the kids, when they get to the end of the chapter, are sort of disappointed that they're stopping there because they want to keep reading and find out what happens next. So it's great to see the kids really engaged with the text.
And just as a quick aside, so CVC stands for consonant, vowel, consonant. So think of simple words like map, MAP, cat, things like that. So the students in kindergarten are already able to read and utilize those words at this level.
And it's really cool that the chapter book piece, so it's lengthier pieces of text that kids are having the chance to read, which is awesome. Provides fluency practice during whole group, partner, and independent activities, and it incorporates structured routines like chaining. Chaining is something where kids might spell or sound out the word cat, and then we change the last letter of T to a P and make cat. So it works through those types of games and manipulation of letters to make new words. So lots of word building happening. I also was in kindergarten. It was neat to see they were using little mirrors to see how your mouth looks when you make sounds, which is all based in the science of reading, so that they can really understand where and how their mouth should look in differentiating different sounds, which was awesome.
And then as you move up to the higher grade levels, so that's 120 minutes, K-2 for ELA instruction every day. And then grades 3 through 4, grade 3 is 120 minutes because there's still some of that phonemic awareness and things. And as you get to 4 and 5, it's only 90 minutes. And that is emphasizes the integration of the knowledge and skills that are taught at the earlier grade levels. And then to help deepen student comprehension and analytical abilities. The curriculum builds on the strong literacy foundation, as I just said, established in the earlier grades, and then they start to move into more advanced reading, writing, and language skills. What's happening is because this is new curriculum, our kids haven't had it yet, so our teachers have to back up a little bit because the kids haven't had certain things, so we have to catch them up. Students engage with complex, content-rich texts across literature, science, and history, which helps broaden their knowledge base and enhance critical thinking. So that's the program, and it is all comprehensive, like we said it would be: reading, writing, listening, speaking, vocabulary, grammar, everything, phonemic awareness, it's all included. So that's an overview of the program. And then we just wanted to go through some bullet points of there's so much going on with this program, so many pieces happening. We'll just fill you in on a couple things, and we'll just kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really important to note that the PLC is really a great support system, so teachers in each building.
Professional learning community. So many initials you have to think.
But I really, it's great that that is occurring and that this team has really been involved for the last couple of years in the research behind looking at the programs. So they're a support system for one another. They're a support system in each building then. Share at faculty meetings, to be there for questions as they come up, which is great.
And they're the ones who go to Michael to get the answers for us, to reach out to CPLA. So it's a whole system, but it's working very well because we're getting what we need. We had our initial training in August for a couple days, K to 2 and then 3 to 5, and then the teachers were right at it. So it's the more they implement the curriculum, the more comfortable they're becoming because they're getting familiar with the routines, the procedures. So are the children. Initially some of the scores were lower because this is more robust than anything we're used to. But we're seeing growth because our teachers are now getting a better handle on, okay, what do I really need to teach and make sure the kids understand for the assessment. We also did beginning, we will be doing middle and then end of year. It's called M-Class data. We've always done that with like a Dibbles. We used to use something called a Cadence. Now this is called M-Class. So this data, we know early on where our kids are in reading so that teachers can progress monitor and help them move forward on all the different levels. And then this data also connects to what's called Boost, which is another piece of the program that the kids go on. They actually go on the computer, and it's kind of a gamified approach to doing all kinds of reading activities. And it puts kids at their level based on where they scored. So they can continue to grow. If they're struggling, hold them where they are until they continue to, hit new levels and show that they know the skills.
And the nice part about that, we used to have Lexia for some of our more struggling readers. And it was costly and it was only something that we could afford for our, as an intervention. So this is really nice. It connects the curriculum and everybody has access to that, which is really fantastic.
We've created what's called a one-stop shop where everything CKLA is in there as a resource for teachers, administrators, everything we talk about, we learn about, we throw in this folder so that teachers can find what they need, like writing rubrics, tricky words, different things that we're learning goes in there. Can't say enough about our teachers. They are incredible. You heard what the trainer said, and this was October. They started in September. It's only November. I feel like we've been doing this for years already because that's all we talk about all day and night. But the teachers have worked so hard to really prepare because these manuals are pretty involved. And you have to kind of learn how to read the manual. It's not that easy to just sit up there because you have to figure out with the kids in your class, how do I implement this lesson in front of me, making sure I'm meeting the needs of the kids of my class. And they're just doing a tremendous job. And I just want to keep saying it over and over because they're working so hard to just learn this new curriculum. And we mentioned it's more rigorous, robust vocabulary. I mean, you wouldn't believe the vocabulary. You go in a first grade class, you see words you have to look up because you've never seen them before. It's really just, it's unbelievable.
So the assessment schedule is something, just with regards to, I kind of jumped ahead with report cards. I think that this is really important. For this first, we've moved in the elementary level to trimesters. So the first trimester will not be graded on the report card. And that was really just giving the kids a chance and the teachers to acclimate to the program. So assessments are being given just as they always were. But as far as the report card goes, we will not be reporting out a grade. So we're having conversations with our families during, this month of November, during parent-teacher conferences to share those assessments and what they look like. We've already seen, a difference in the first assessment that kids took compared to the second, which is to be expected because it's all new and different. So I really think that, took a little bit off of teachers as well, to move in that direction and then look for those in the second trimester.
So we're following a certain scope and sequence that the program provides. So we're going through it the first year, and teachers are at the similar grade level across buildings are talking to each other. What meeting are you on? Where am I? Where are you? We're trying to figure out what the pacing schedule should look like. Where do we expect teachers to be on November 12th? So that is a process that we'll go through the whole year, and then we'll have discussion to see. Maybe we don't do this many units. Maybe we do this many units. What assessments are really necessary, because we don't want to over-assess kids. So these are all ongoing discussions that we're working through.
And initially too, sometimes teachers bring me, in this new implementation, bring in, like I was in third grade just the other day, and bringing in some examples for kids, like that they're working on poetry, freestyle poetry. So the term waltz came up in that. So she was able to show a little brief video clip so that kids had an understanding of what a waltz is and more context in the story. So those pieces, take a little bit of extra time, and that's recognized. But the vocabulary is interesting in that, it moves through the things that kids are learning in kindergarten. They'll have known as they move through the program up the grade. So it won't be completely brand new to them as it is this year.
When I was in a third grade class and they're doing poetry and they get right into it, the teacher had to explain what's a stanza because they learned that in second grade. Our kids didn't know that. So that's the kind of stuff where you have to go back, touch on it, and then go through that particular lesson. All elementary has something called WIN, What I Need Time, 30 minutes a day. And that's a time where we're using this boost, which connects to the student data so they can continue to increase their skills. And there's recommended times for that. K-3 is 30 to 45 minutes a week. 4 and 5 is 40 to 60 minutes. So some of that's getting done in the classroom, but if not, we're asking kids 3 to 5, they take their Chromebooks home so it's easy to access from their Chromebook. And for K-2, maybe they can go on the device at home and just work on it a little bit if they're not hitting their minutes in school. Because certain kids are pulled for intervention, or they're pulled for this, they're pulled for that. Because WIN is the time where everything's happening. If they're in music, or speech, they might be missing some of that time. So we're working with those families to make sure that they're getting that boost to boost their scores and their achievement.
Yeah, and the program's designed with these pausing points, so they can either use that time to work on some of the skills that they have already introduced if they need a little more time on that, or I've seen like our 5th grade teacher uses those pausing point days for her lit circles, reading Olympics kinds of literature circles and books to have that still integrated into what she's doing in the English language arts.
And everything we're saying is happening across all 3 buildings, between principals talking with each other, teachers talking to each other, so much information going back and forth that we're really all working together to do what's best for the kids. What we also like about this is the differentiation piece. Within the manual, there's support and challenge sidebar notes, so the teacher can adjust some of what they're doing based on the needs of the class. Some kids could be doing this while other kids are doing that. We talked about the coaching 4 times this year. We've already had it once, coming back in December, then February and April. And Marie, Amber, and I have been in classrooms every day using what's called a look for. It's not an evaluative document. It's more to have discussion with the teachers. So, if we go into K-2, there's certain look fors to make sure they're following the program appropriately. Same thing with 3 to 5. So we can go in and have these conversations with teachers. And then we have meetings with Michael where we can discuss as principals, what are we seeing? What's going well? What areas might there be some concerns that we want to discuss with teachers or get further professional development? So that's been a great opportunity for us to really get into the classrooms and, really see what's going on.
Yeah, and the look fors were introduced to all faculty during training. So, it's not, there's no secret in this. This is really what we went through in that training, and kind of just really revisiting that on the regular so that we can make sure we're on track. And as you saw, even, from what, when the consultant came out, that we're really ahead of the game, which is fantastic.
And just to add, we had some pictures of things that are up around our buildings. If this was the 4th grade, the kids are doing a project on the Middle Ages. So like these things are hanging up on the walls at different themes. That was 4th grade.
Pay no attention to the 75 tabs at the top of the screen.
Yeah. This was classifying vertebrae. That was at a lower grade level. Just the content is so cool. What's that? I can't read. Similar stories, different lands. There's another one with Incas and the Mayas. I think up on the left there with 5th grade. Doing research based on what they're learning. Kids are very excited, and we're hearing from parents too, that the kids are very engaged and they love the curriculum. Kids love science and social studies and learning that information. And as they're learning that, they're learning to read and write. So it's been fantastic. And, if there's any questions, we're thrilled with the way things are going. There's a lot to do, a lot to learn, but, this is a great start.
Well, great. That was a lot of information. Thank you. I'll open it up to the committee members if there's any questions first.
You talked about the kids doing strokes, or I forget if that was what you,
Yes.
is that also going into the cursive so that they can print an A or cursive write an A?
Yes, I was waiting for you to bring up cursive. I actually didn't put it on there.
I would've if
And
he
I
did.
forgot that so
He
many
stole it
kids-
from me.
I know.
I already told Cora when we were in a meeting together. So cursive's gonna start the second half of the year. In 2nd grade, as we discussed a year or so ago when we made those decisions. So cursive will be starting the second half of the year for 2nd, and then in 3rd, 4th, and 5th, they get the practice. We want to make sure that they're continuing to practice the cursive. So right now, the younger kids, yes, they're working on print.
Yeah, but I think it's a neat way that they've introduced how to make letters.
That is.
Previously, that was not how they were introduced, so it's really neat to see that they learn those strokes first and then go into their
Very
their
artistic.
letters. Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
Well, I just want to say thank you so much. I mean, this is awesome to, it sounds like things are really going well. And I love how, your coach really stressed the teachers working and, it sounds like she was
impressed.
Yeah, it sounds
the
like
woman
she
named
was very
Amanda.
impressed.
Very impressed. Couldn't believe that we just started. I mean, that was a month
Yeah,
into instruction.
and I love your excitement about it. I mean, you are, I can see it in both of you. You're very excited about it. So that is really awesome. Thank you for sharing all this.
Absolutely.
Of course.
All
It's good
right.
stuff. Oh, good, thanks.
Open it up to our audience. Any questions right here? What? Yes, if you could just state your name and township.
Yeah, I'm Mary Mercer, Springfield Township. Did I hear at the last EPS something about possibly having this at the middle school level or is this just an elementary? And also I want to say my son came home from school and wanted to tell me all about Emily Dickinson. And I was under that. And their 5th grade class is having a poetry jam. I think on like the 24th, so the teachers are adding some stuff on.
Yeah, and just so
You
many
get a
great
5th grade boy
novels.
excited about poetry. That's
Yeah, so
Thanks for sharing.
So CKLA is a K-8 program, and so we do have our middle level teachers have a rubric that they've designed, and CKLA is one of the products that they're looking at. And so I just was able to coordinate with another school district, and some of our middle level teachers will be traveling out next week to observe that in action at that middle school.
Okay, great. Anybody else? All right, well, thank you once again for coming tonight, putting all this together and all the support. It's really great. Thank you.
Thanks.
Awesome.
All right, up next, we're talking about the AP Bio Trip.
Wow, Florida.
I'm going to quickly hand it off to Mark, so AP Bio teacher forever, especially if
Sure. So I'll give you a little bit of history. I think the AP Bio Trip goes back to the early 90s, actually, before I started teaching. And I sort of took it over in the early 2000s and did a whole bunch of trips to various places, Belize, there was a bunch of others. We went to Mexico one year. But the place that we seem to always go back to was St. John in the U.S. Virgin Islands. It was a little closer, convenient. There was a lot of really good pluses about it. And unfortunately, the place that we loved and went to most frequently ended up getting destroyed in the hurricanes in 2018. And we've sort of struggled to sort of get momentum to get a trip together since, but we're made a push this year to see if we could do it one more time. We obviously can't stay where we stayed before, but we found a national park campground that we think will accommodate us, and we think we can sort of tweak a few things about the trip and get back there and see if we can recreate the magic we had 10 years ago. So is there,
great.
I don't know if there's questions you guys have. I know you guys got some information on it, but.
Okay. Any questions from the committee?
I did review the information, sounds interesting, and it is the US Virgin Islands.
Yes, it's the U.S. Virgin Islands. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it is, everything is pretty normal there. And as St. John is the quietest of all the islands, 85% of it is national park. So there are people there, obviously, and there are tourists there, but we can find some places that we can call ourselves. And the nice thing is when you show up with a bunch of students, all the tourists seem to be scared of that. So I don't understand it. Yeah.
So you said a campground, are you tenting?
It is a campground. It's not tenting. The plan will be more they have, I'll call it glamping tents. They're like screened in,
yeah.
they're screened in porches basically with canvas roofs and things, electricity. So shared bathrooms, but I mean, it's roughing it, but nothing that we can't handle. So
Gotcha.
if I can handle it, the teenagers.
All right, anybody, all right, anybody from the audience that has any questions? Maybe all, okay. I'll just say I'm thrilled to, to see this back, and I hope it works. I hope you get a great buy-in, from the students, because I think you and I have spoken in years past and couldn't quite get it together, enough interest. I think the trips that our teachers are so wonderful to put so much energy into creating the whole various trips, I think give our students such an opportunity of extension outside of the classroom, and I think they get so much from it. So I thank wholeheartedly the teachers that put all that extra time and effort and energy and then actually go on the trip with our kids. I think it's one of the multitude of things that makes Palisades so great. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm assuming this will go to the full board for, yeah,
You'll see that on the agenda, yeah.
okay.
St. John's is almost normal. You drive alongside of the road at St. John and St. Thomas.
All right.
Yeah, as a side note, this is pretty cool because the trip didn't go last year because there wasn't enough interest. Mark is opening it up. Mark and Kara are gonna invite seniors who had the class last year to come
Oh, great.
along too, so they'll have. a
Get as
chance
many
to-
as we can.
Yeah.
Great.
And we've talked about, and again, we'll see what happens, but we've talked about the idea that it may be a better idea to run it every other year instead of trying to do it every year and only have a few students, so kind
Right.
of build up interest. But we'll see, we'll worry about that next year. So.
Yeah, there you go. No, that's fine. That's great. That's great. All right. So I think we're moving on to the high school course updates for 26, 27.
Good. So as we get ready for, believe it or not, the 26-27 school year, we have a couple course proposals for the board to consider. Coincidentally, we're also ramping up for the 5-year reviews in art and business, where you're going to see some of these suggestions and proposals come to you tonight. So with that being said, I have Mr. Gilbert, Ms. Timochenko, and Mrs. Rubel here to talk about business first. We're grabbing this Sunday from her night class, so we'll come back to
So I'll hand it off to our business. Yeah, and I'm gonna make a quick pivot. You stole the thunder. It is our 5-year review, so we're gonna be going through that process right now. And we're very excited to think about the last 5-year review. We're just talking about a new TV studio. And I think everybody's got a chance to see how that turned out. It's been awesome, it's been great. So with that being said, we're gonna talk about digital marketing, which really is taking 2 consistent courses that we have now, merging it together, and then 2 AP courses. So I'll turn it over to Bree. Nancy?
So right now we have a regular marketing course, and then we've also have a course, multimedia communications, MMC. In the MMC course, the students come up with a business or they use their own family local business to enhance it with marketing techniques using Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Express, and kind of going that route to kind of make more space in our curriculum for AP classes. But also, I think, enhancing our marketing course. We just want to kind of merge those two courses together and make it digital marketing. So we do, still teach the foundational concepts of marketing, but then we're going to also integrate more of the digital marketing that we're seeing more today. So looking at your analytics and your internet browsing and social media marketing and more of the tactics that are used today. So combining those two courses to make it a better experience, I think, for the students overall.
And we would be eliminating multimedia communication.
Correct. So multimedia would just pop into.
But not necessarily eliminating all facets of it, just condensing it.
Correct, condensing it. So we'd still be utilizing it. Multimedia has transitioned quite a bit through the years.
I remember when I first started teaching multimedia, we thought we were forefront because we were teaching PowerPoint. So that was the original.
I thought Mr. Gilbert was talking about the Apple IIe.
Yeah.
6 months older than me, just for the record.
So yeah, it's progressed quite a bit, and that's kind of where we've landed ourselves now. So I think combining them together is going to be more valuable overall for both courses.
Okay.
When would this course start? When are you looking to
26, 27.
26, 27?
Yes.
Okay,
That's what all these are that we're talking about.
okay,
Yeah.
all right.
And then our next one is offering the AP Business Principles and Personal Finance. Before I hop into that though, just a quick financial literacy update. So we were ahead of the curve in making financial literacy a mandatory requirement. The state has caught up. So just to kind of give an update on our financial literacy course now, we have, continued to update our curriculum, making sure that it matches the state standards that they have in place now for financial literacy. We've in recent years adapted a lot from NGPF, Next Gen Personal Finance, that follows the standards, the national standards for it as well, going over units like decision-making, banking, investing, credit, insurance, taxes, budgeting, and consumer skills. We will still be running our financial literacy course. This AP offering does not replace that half credit requirement for students to graduate. So this, obviously is still a core course that we'll have. But moving into the AP business one, this is super cool. So they're just picking it up. It's going to be offered for the first time next school year. So it's developed by College Board, offering students the opportunity to earn college credit and employer endorsed credential. Target students, it's for all 9 through 12. However, they indicated they're really actually targeting it toward 9th and 10th graders as a nice introductory AP course for them to take. Their curriculum looks at real world business application, case studies, project-based learning. The concepts, the business concepts and the financial literacy concepts are interwoven, so they're not by unit. The whole curriculum is meant to kind of mesh and meld into one. The students, I think this is really cool. The students throughout this course actually create their own product, and throughout the whole course kind of build it almost into like a Shark Tank experience where they're looking at, their marketing and their financials involved in it and just the feasibility if that is something that could happen. So they're kind of creating their own business throughout the course. That's their main capstone project that they would have as they're taking it. Again, business skills. So then ultimately outcome, this course, as well as the one that Nancy's going to talk about, is part of the AP Career Kickstart program that College Board has in place. So with this course, if students, take the test, they pass the test, as well as completion of that capstone project that I spoke to, they will then have their employer recognized credential associated with the AP Business Principles and Personal Finance. So we were at a conference with it on Monday. It's a super cool course. I'm excited for it. I think it has a lot of fun hands-on activities for the kids. and a way for them to incorporate our community and talk with local businesses and,
And we may develop our own Shark Tank and call it Walk the Plank.
walk the plank.
Yeah.
That's gonna be the
Yeah.
word.
Nice.
Working on the ship.
Okay, so AP Cybersecurity is another great course that's a new course offered by College Board. They also developed this one with college faculty and industry leaders to make sure that it was aligned with real world skills. And it's launching also 26, 27. Right now, they're piloting it with other schools, but the official launch, we would be right in line with if we started it next school year. This is also targeting all high school students. So they designed it for students with no prior computer science experience. So it's very open to, it doesn't have any prerequisites. The curriculum, students in this course would learn about digital threats, vulnerabilities, risk management, societal impact. And the way that they would do it would be through project-based learning, hands-on practice in what's called a cyber range, which is sort of like a safe sandbox that they can play in to problem solve real world scenarios. So that's what the curriculum looks like. Outcomes from this course, also, if they get a qualifying score, they would earn college credit and also an employer endorsed credential. And, really at the end of the day, the benefit of this course is that students would have a future-proof career, helps them stay ahead in tech, helps them solve real-world problems, helps them have a meaningful impact, protecting people, organizations, even nations from digital threats. And right here in Pennsylvania is actually emerging as a leader in cybersecurity, as a hub, so there will be a lot of jobs right here in the state, so.
I think they mentioned, Nancy, too, I think they said that currently in the United States, there are more than 55,000 job openings in the world of cybersecurity,
I think it was higher,
maybe even
much
higher,
higher even.
maybe
Yeah, I believe it
550.
was 500,000,
There you go.
if I'm right. And, and then I just looked at like the hubs, and Pennsylvania's right up there, definitely in the top 10 of hubs for cybersecurity. So the jobs and the pay, the salaries are there.
And we'll move right in quick to AP Art, and this way then Lauren can go back to her ceramics class that she's offering, and then we'll open it up for questions if that's okay.
Yeah.
Take it away.
Okay. Well, I'm hoping that you read the proposal, but if you remember, I was here last year and we had updated the name of our course. We used to have AP Level 3, so we changed that to 3D concentration, and that was to prepare and accommodate for AP 3D art. So by adding this, it won't change anything, it won't change my schedule or anything, it's just gonna move right in. AP or 3D concentration is, right now we have level 1, level 2, and concentration can act as level 3 and the other half of AP 3D, because AP 3D is a year-long course that is every other day, but it has to be taken simultaneously with the studio course. So the concentration class has to be taken at the same time. Because art classes in college are double the time as every other class. So it is a little more demanding. It's going to be a little harder for students to take because they're going to have that time. And I've explained to some students too, you're gonna have to give up your late arrival or your early dismissal, but if we have students that are going to school for art, then they should want to do this. What's nice about this too, I've also explained, you don't have to go to school for art to use these credits. It can fill an elective if you decide to, if you go to college in another major. I have students that are interested in this and are already ready to sign up. The only prerequisite would be to take level 2. So I have plenty of students that are already there and have filled that qualification.
Awesome. All right, that's great. All right, well, thank you. Any questions from the committee on any of these?
They sound very interesting, but the AP, but they're open to everybody. They're AP courses, but they're open to all students, did you say?
Yes.
They're open to all students, okay, so they don't have to qualify or whatever. Okay.
Just in art, they have to have the second
Yeah,
course.
Yeah,
The ones that Nancy and Brianna talked about, they're no pre-requisites.
but yours is only for 12th graders, according to this.
Most
Yeah.
likely.
Okay,
Could be 11 periods, it depends when they have design sculpture 1 and then design sculpture 2, because that's the prerequisite to get into. It might be 11th period or more likely a 12th period.
Yeah, so the art course is more of the capstone sort of final project, whereas the business courses are more of an entree introduction to, so they want for our students to start earlier and build that capacity.
so the business course with the financial literacy, is that taking the place of the middle school program, or?
Is that taking place at the current financial literacy course?
Yeah.
No, the state still requires that the students take the half-credit financial literacy course as a graduation requirement, so that does not replace it.
And that's in what, 8th grade?
Oh, no, financial literacy in grades 9 through 12.
9th, oh, okay, I thought it was in middle school.
No,
Okay.
it's a high school requirement for the students.
So this is in addition to that, and
Correct.
it's not a requirement.
No, this is not a required course. No.
Anybody from the audience? Yes, Lynn?
I believe if I saw the information correctly, I don't know if it was questionnaire surveys that were sent out, and there seemed to be like roughly a little over 30% interest in some of these. I'm not so much sure about the art one, but the other ones, the cybersecurity and the business. Am I correct with that? Over 30%, like 34% or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess I'm just curious if you see, once this gets started, if it's successful, that will potentially maybe go up and there'll be more interest in this, I would assume, right? So I guess I'm just curious, like, what percentage of interest needs to be there before we even think about launching into bringing in a new program?
I think when we looked at the data, there were students that would definitely sign up for this, and then there was another percentage of students who would potentially sign up for it. We felt that that number was high enough to bring it to the board for consideration for us to add to our program of study. Like all courses that we offer at the high school, if the course actually runs, will be driven by enrollment. If there's 3 kids that sign up for it, we're not running it. If there's 3 dozen kids that sign up for it, we'll have multiple sections of it. So we felt as though there was enough interest based upon an grade 8 to 11 survey, being that students would definitely be interested or students might be interested. I forget exactly the wording of it, but something like that. It was actually closer to 50% if I remember correctly. And we said, hey, that many kids, 8 through 11, it's a course that we should bring on their behalf, advocate for it through our business teachers. And if they sign up for it, everything's a good idea until you got to make a commitment to it, right? So if they commit to it through the course registration process, we'll staff it. If they don't, it's still on the books and we can maybe offer it the next year.
So it also depends on the scheduling, because that's been a complaint of many students, and, they'd like to take this or they'd like to take that, but they can't fit it into their schedules.
Yeah, and that's one of the challenges with small school, because quite honestly, most of our AP classes, there's one section.
Yeah.
And if you want to take AP Bio and AP Euro at the same time, which some of our kids might, we're not going to make a choice.
Yeah,
Whereas if we were a bigger school like Penridge or Quakertown, they're probably having multiple sections of AP that offered every single period of the day. And if you can't plug into period 1, you can take it period 4. So, there's absolutely advantages to being a small school and having living sections, and there's obviously disadvantages. And that would be the same statement I would make if I was a principal of a big school. So, I think we do a pretty darn good job here of meeting students' needs and being flexible where we can.
Okay. Anybody else from the audience? Yes?
Good evening, Saul Ramos, Malcolm X, and I'm just, how are you doing? You said there's updates to financial literacy course. When are those going to be implemented? What's the time frame for the updates?
I was just giving an update as, we met on this board years ago to put financial literacy into our coursework as a graduation requirement, and just saying that through the years, we have continued to develop the course. And we've adapted a lot of the NGPF. I indicated the units that we go through. So that's already in the works and that's been in the works. So we're just continually monitoring, making sure that we're meeting those state and national standards for financial literacy and going
Okay.
down that route. Yeah.
So adjust and modify based on what the state requirements are.
Mhm.
Okay, great. My second part of that question is on your financial literacy courses. I understand that there are also online and in person. So the online portion, what would we have online, I guess, for a course that suits people better when it's someone in person? So the percentage of students that are either asked to take online or request to take online courses, what would that number be?
Richard, I had looked it up. I'm gonna tell you.
Okay, well, while you're looking,
We have multiple sections.
that's all right. While
Yeah.
you're looking that up, I guess my last question to that is, feeling that this is so much, I mean, this is near and dear to my heart. So being that, dealing with the real world, what is the possibility or probability bringing in real people from the outside to give lectures in this financial literacy course and professional development when it comes to the AP courses, to share real world experiences with your students that might give them another spark to say,
Right, absolutely.
Thank
And we have brought in guest speakers in the past and we're continuing to do it. Nancy runs our business seminar course as well, so she has a lot of guest speakers coming in, and as a department, we do our best to kind of bring our classes all into those speakers when they do come. So we'll continue to bring people in and have those conversations.
And I would piggyback on that for you as well, Saul, that the Pennsylvania updated standards for personal finance go into effect on July 1, 2026. So we're currently in the process of doing a crosswalk of the standards that we have, and that's a K-12 impact. So we're going to present in the spring to the committee about what that looks like, where we're fulfilling those standards based off of the different subjects, K through 12. And that part of that, alongside the business department's 5-year review, part of their focus this year is to look at what recommendations they can bring forward to the committee insofar as changes and modifications to that financial literacy course, to speak exactly to what you're saying, but even more modern, because finances may seem as if they're static, but it's always changing, right? And like you said, inspiring our students to understand from the real world and professionals in our communities, that's part of the conversations we're having as a department as well.
You bring up a great point, Dr. Nolan, and thank you for reminding me. So we have right now from 9 to 12. So we're looking to go even further into the grades. We're going to start going to the middle school and then to the elementary level.
July 1, 2026, kindergarten through 12.
Love it. Thank you very much.
I'll be tapping on you later on. Don't worry. Yes.
I just want to share that I, years ago, was a presenter for insurance. I think you might have been real estate, some of the guys came in for banking, so you guys have been working on this a long time.
Mhm. Yep, yeah, absolutely. Anybody else? Okay, so I'll just jump in and I'll say thank you for coming, everyone, giving us the update. I've been talking to Dr. Don a little bit, like, I really like to know what's going on with financial literacy. Haven't heard anything about it in a while, so thank you for coming. So you're saying that your overall department review, which will include those details, I have to wait until next spring? It's okay, I'm just asking, that wasn't like that, I just want to make sure I understood it, okay.
You got it.
Yeah. All right, that's fine, yeah, because I'm interested to understand like what changes have been made since we very first went into play. Also, now that the state jumped on board and decided it was a great idea, like that's awesome. But yeah, I'm interested to just see what we're teaching and so forth. And I thought it really was great that we had some stakeholders come in and help, with that. And I would just love to see if that's still, something that we can do to reach out to the business community, and get that wealth of knowledge for our students. So that's awesome. All of the AP classes, but especially the business, near and dear to my heart, I love seeing. So one question that I just had, and it doesn't really matter, just for my own knowledge. So are these like brand new? They're not in any other schools. These were just developed by the College Board, and we're jumping on with these as well. Is that pretty much?
Yes, they've been piloted, but they haven't been rolled out. They'll be rolled
Okay.
out next year.
Okay.
nationally.
All right. Well, that's great.
And because they're brand new, Brianna and Nancy would then go to a 5-day training, and the College Board will fund that training for
Okay.
them with the curriculum, which will be released in the spring once it's had all the kinks worked out.
Right. Okay. All right, that's great. No, I'm, super excited to see that we're having this. And, looking forward to a report after the first year, how wonderful it was, how wonderful it was. And if there's anything we can do as a board, to help support it. So thank you. Yeah. All right. Up next, we have Palisades High School student program recommendations for post-secondary readiness.
Yeah, so I'm going to take this one in collaboration, I'm sure, with Rich as we run through some course sort of credit adjustments and requests. So several years ago, we approved ninth graders to go to the technical school, which we didn't have previously.
Was that 7 years ago?
No, several.
Oh. I thought you said 7. Oh,
Time is flying.
Well,
for
you've been on the board
us.
that long.
I know. I'm
Almost
thinking.
seven, almost 7. I think 5. Yeah.
No,
I
I've
would
been on the
say-
board
I would
4
say
years, so
4,
it's 4.
That they, 4,
2025.
That was soon after I came on the board.
Correct. So when we did that, creating opportunities for kids to go to technical school, full support to do that. At that time, there was concern, potentially looking forward, that some of our students may get behind or jammed up from a credit perspective. So we're at that point. And the reason we're talking about it now, because now the students that attend, some, not all, some that attended as freshmen are now our juniors and seniors. And when we're working with our juniors and seniors on their path to graduation, they're meeting graduation requirements, they're on track to graduate. We have some students that are running up against some challenges right now to graduate with their cohort. So what I'm going to share is 2 areas to take a look at, but the only one I want to focus on really right now is 1A, because it requires board action to make an adjustment for our juniors and seniors that are credit deficient. And, I'll share with you why we're sort of in that position. And then I want to go through the other areas that are active areas of communication and conversation right now with our colleagues at Penridge and at Quakertown and at Upper Bucks. So I'm going to get to that after I chat a little bit about our sort of a request for forgiveness for something that we're requiring for our students. So all of our students have the same required number of credits, 24.5. Correct. What's different between our technical school students and our students that are at the home school full time is the allocation of those credits. So our technical school students have far more electives because they're at the technical school gaining those electives. So for example, whether you're here full time or at the technical school, you need 4 years of English. So that's the same. If you're in, I'm going to get my little cheat sheet right here. I'm sure Rich could do this off the top of his head. I could do it pretty well.
You're good.
I got 4. Okay, I did that one so far. Okay, so if you're here, you have 4 required years of math. If you're at the technical school, you have 3. So this is what currently exists, and then I'm going to share with you what the recommendation is.
4 years of English or 4
4
blocks?
credits of English, which
Okay,
break down to basically 4 years of English. I mean, you
Okay.
can double up in English. Most kids don't. That typically is a 4-year
okay.
program. For math, 4 credits of math. If you're here, it's 3 credits if you're at the technical school requirements. Science, 4 credits if you're here at the home school, 3 credits if you're at the technical school. There is a year or a credit requirement for our students that attend the technical school that has to be in math or science. So whereas our students that are here have 4 years of science and 4 years of math, our students that are at the technical school have 3 years required of science, 3 years required of math, and either science or math. So that's one difference. Social studies, 4 and 4, no difference there. PE is one that there's a pretty significant difference for. So for our students that are here, it's 1.5 credits of PE. I don't know why I'm holding up 4. It's 1.5. And then it's 0.5 credits of health. So they have two full credits combined. Our students that are at the technical school, it's 0.5 credit for PE and 0.5 credit for health. I'm going to share, if for those of us that have been on the board and working together with the JOC, there was a time when PE and health was offered at the technical school, and then that opened up a slot here at the homeschool to take other courses that they may need to take. But that moved back to the homeschool, so we made that adjustment for our technical school students. But that was a stressor. Electives, there's a minimum of 6.5 for our students that are here, and there's a minimum of 8.5 elective credits at the technical school for our kids that are there. So one of the other challenges for students that start in freshman year and stay there for the longer term, we have that financial literacy requirement, which is fantastic. But our students that are at the technical school do take that online because there just isn't room in their schedule to take it in person. That could be a challenge for, if you're not an online learner, that's a challenge. So we have any questions on how that
Do they
allocation?
have to pay for that, or is that?
No, that's our course.
yours.
That's correct.
Okay.
Can
Yep.
health and phys ed be done online too?
We do have students take those online as well. Any student can sign up for online health
Yeah,
or
but that
PE.
would be better for the tech students. for
Yeah,
fitting
do you
into
have a
schedules.
sense of how many?
It's,
How do you take PE online?
So you have to log,
Log
you have to
in.
log
Yeah.
activities.
Oh,
and-
Fitbit,
yeah,
heart
yeah.
rate monitors and those kind of things.
Yeah.
It's not exercising your fingers.
No, no.
Actually.
It's not. It's not. Okay,
And those, I'll call it rules of how many credits, where and for whom are set by the state,
no,
the board.
the board.
Okay.
So there
that's
are
what I thought,
minimum
yeah.
requirements set by the state.
Yep.
Absolutely minimum requirements. And then the board, just like we added financial literacy
Yep.
before it was a state
Okay.
requirement.
Yep.
So that's what the local can do.
Are your requirements close to what the state is, or is there?
Exceed. They exceed what the state requires.
Significantly?
By about 3 credits, I would say.
Yeah.
I think the state requirement is maybe 21
Yeah.
credits and we have 24 and a half.
Okay,
Um,
so we have some wiggle room.
if you choose,
Yeah.
sure.
Get it.
And boards have had discussions about where we are today talking about, do we need 4 years of social studies? So I'm just sharing what we currently have.
Okay.
So the board can certainly adjust credits if they want to. That's a bigger conversation than for today, but we can certainly, talk
Down the
about that. Yeah. So when students go their freshman year, they're obviously at the technical school for half their time, and then they're here for half their time. There is a transition from the middle to the high school, which is a difficult transition, I think, for many students. When we have students that are going from the middle school to the high school to here and then to the technical school in 1 year, that's like a double whammy of a transition. So I'll get to that in a second. So we have students that are current seniors that are not on track to graduate because they were not successful somewhere along the way, and there is no room in their schedule to make that class up. The board has set that if a student gets an NC, which is a no credit, they're eligible for summer school, because that conversation was they're close. They just have a little bit that they need to demonstrate that they're able to meet these standards. If a student fails a course, they need to take that course over, because the board decided through discussions that if you outright fail a course, you're not going to be able to meet those standards in a summer program. So if a student gets an NC, which for those who may not know that it's a D, they're eligible for summer school if they want. But not all students, would want to spend their summer making up that course, so then they need to take it again.
Where did the NC come from? I never heard of it. I mean,
Oh, we've had the NC for,
Since the 90s, since the
Yeah.
late 90s. And
yeah, it
Do
means
other
no
schools?
credit.
do other districts, I've never heard of that, and I've asked
Oh.
other people and nobody's ever heard of it. Like, why?
So we've had it at Palisades again for decades.
since like 97.
It's a D, I think would be the translation.
Well, I looked it
to
up
other-
and it's a 55 to a 69.
Mhm.
So anything that between 55 and 69 falls into the NC. but-
Correct. So think of it as, if you did that in summer school, you would be eligible to gain credit. So you don't currently have credit for that class, but if you went to summer school and met those standards that you were deficient
So
in,
you could pass it.
absolutely.
and
And
get the
kids do
credit.
take advantage of that in the summer and they do pass those classes. We're talking about kids that did not. So now there's no room in their schedule to be able to make up that science. It's typically, I would say, science or math.
yeah.
That's where they're getting jammed up. So our senior class, we're at about 30% of students in our senior class that started as freshmen that are not on track to graduate without some interaction.
Can you say again, how many?
30%.
30% of the tech school students or 30%?
30%. So the numbers would be, we had 10 students attend the technical school as freshmen that are current seniors.
Okay.
We have many more students that are at the technical school and many more seniors that are there that went as sophomores, as juniors, and maybe as freshmen, but we're just talking about 10 kids that started as freshmen. One of them came back to the homeschool full time, so now we're down to 9, not down to, but there are 9. And 3 of them are not on track to graduate. So that's your 30% of those kids.
Okay.
So about 30% of all seniors.
So
It's 30%.
It's 3 kids.
Correct.
3
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah. We don't have a heart attack, but it's still concerning.
Right.
That, the system that we have set up and what they're able to do and what they're able to make up, we don't have in place right now for them to be able to do that. So
Have the counselors been working with them?
Absolutely.
throughout? I mean, like, are the parents aware? Have they been?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
They just don't have any room in their schedule. There's no room. Because right now, if you look at a tech school student's credits that we require from the homeschool, they're required to take 16 and a half credits. There's only 16 slots. So whether they want to or not, they must take a half a credit online and pass everything else. Whereas the student that doesn't go to tech school, they have 32 slots to take 24 and a half credits plus another credit and a half potentially online. So if you're a student that doesn't go to the technical school, you have 33 and a half opportunities to take 24 and a half credits. So what ends up happening is the student that doesn't go to the tech school graduates with high 20s, low 30 credits. So they're loading up. If they stumbled in a calculus class, they have room in their schedule to make it up because they do. And they don't need to go to summer school. And so the student that goes to the technical school in the 9th grade year can't stumble. They just can't. With the way our system is currently set up, they can't stumble. Or they're gonna be behind in credits. Like right now, they have to commit to a half credit online. But if they stumble, now they're a credit and a half. So it starts to get exponential. So I'll stop there.
Yeah, it's real quick too, and so Rich, in mentioning this is what, and we talked about this yesterday, with all 4 schools, right?
Haven't gotten there yet.
Oh, I was gonna say the schedule though. So when Rich said there's not room in the schedule, it's not because of the schedule we have here at the high school. Rather, because this is what's been identified as a concern for all 3, and all 3 sending schools have different variations of schedules. That's fair.
Just 2 clarification questions. When you say that the kids have to do the half credit, I guess it's financial literacy,
Or health or PE.
and they have to do that online.
Yes,
When do they do the online work? Like at their own time?
correct.
Okay. And then when you said, Bridget, about, and I might have misunderstood this, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
These 3 kids, did you say that they had the option to take a makeup course in the summer and they didn't?
So if a student is in that position, they're there because they either failed a course,
Okay.
which would be, you have to take the entire course again.
Yeah.
Or you got an NC
Okay,
and likely did not take that
okay,
that NC or that summer credit recovery option to be in this position.
okay.
So
So they
those would be the
didn't
2,
have the option though to take the summer course
only if they got
and NC.
correct. if
Do
they,
we know that was I don't know if we can talk about this, but do we know that with
Yeah.
these 3 students? Is that the?
I'm
I'm just trying to figure out if this is a student situation or if it's a system situation.
Well, I'll share the junior class.
Okay.
Because we have more, like, there's more there. With our current juniors, we had 27 students enter the tech school as freshmen. 3 came back to the homeschool. So of that group, there are 13 that currently have less than the 8 core credits at the high school to graduate. So that's a little over half. So it is, I think it's a combination, but I think the part that I'm feeling right now is that there's no room or opportunity for a student that, again, we talked about that freshman year being a tough year for a lot of kids, and kids stumble their freshman year. For our students that then remain for 4 years, they're in a position that we're talking about right now. And I want to put it, I'm not saying 9th graders don't go to the technical school, because I know that that was an issue. So I want to get to that point, but I think right now, my request and my recommendation is to adjust graduation requirements for these kids that we're talking about that are juniors and seniors, that somewhere along the way stumbled, I'll call it, because, you know, they're standing up and doing well, for a forgiveness of either one. So when I was talking about, you have to take 4 science and 4 math. Our students that are here, our technical school students take 3 and 3, and then they have to take one of one or the other. That for this class, we sort of say that one extra one can come off their plate. And that will put them in a position to graduate with their peers, because those are the courses that they're not being successful in.
So they'll still need 24 and a half credits. They'll just have one more elective credit because they get a ton of elective credits to
They
the
do.
tech school
In the
program.
school.
And we'll
They do.
still be meeting school code
Yep.
by having 3 math and 3 science. Because that's school code minimum.
Correct.
So it's not gonna really change anything except for that one.
Correct.
We're giving grace there and
Yep,
allowing,
not making them take 7 credits of math and science, but 6 credits.
yeah.
3 and 3 rather than 4, 3.
So they're still gonna get all the math and science. That's the-
They're gonna
that the
get 3
state's
and 3.
requiring.
That the state requires, absolutely.
Correct.
We have to, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
What
because
questions do you
Is
have?
that it?
That's
it for that part of the presentation?
That's it for that part of the presentation. That would be the part that you would see on the board agenda for next Wednesday as a motion.
So how is that going to be stated? What,
You know what? I'm going to tell you exactly how it would be stated as soon as I find it. I mean,
because that might be confusing to,
Yeah.
I mean, most of our board is here tonight. but-
Here we go. Hoo-hoo, anyway, so a motion is in order to approve the temporary exception to policy 217 graduation to apply a 1 credit reduction to graduation requirements for identified seniors and juniors who also attend Upper Bucks County Technical School. That's what it would say.
So it would be temporary just for this year? Or
Correct.
are you looking at it for the 2 years?
It would be for our current juniors and seniors. So it would
The
be for
juniors and seniors.
that group, right?
Okay.
Our classes of 2026 and 2027.
Okay.
Because I think there are a whole lot of other things.
And
that
then we
can
need to
do.
look at how to
Correct.
go forward.
Correct.
Okay.
But that is the board, the board action that I'm requesting that you take. Because then as we're moving into, heading into graduation and we're moving into scheduling for our juniors for next year, I think it'll be,
And
some
our
sense of
counselors,
relief,
yeah.
but it'll work with our counselors and our students as is our goal, will graduate with their peers.
And we still have time for second semester with those 3 seniors to get them in the right classes. So,
Okay.
My concern would be, I went through the handbook today because I'm trying to understand
Yep.
how all this works. And I'm wondering how many parents really read the handbook? Do they really understand how all of that is laid out. I mean, you know, if I came home when I was in high school with a D, my parents would be, well, they are not happy with it, but it's a D.
Yeah.
But not getting credit for that D, that's significant. And I don't know how many parents really understand how important that is.
Yeah. I feel just because we've had the NC here for so long, that our families would know that an NC does not mean credit, but I would leave
Yeah,
it to you as far as conversations you've had.
Yeah, we cover it with our 8th graders a ton. The middle school actually has the
Class
same.
meetings.
The middle school has the same
Yeah.
NC, so.
They
it's some-
do.
Yeah, so it's something they get used to in grade 6 through 12. It aligns. We drill it home with the 8th graders. We really talk about that credit acquisition. In my correspondence with parents, I put it out there as well, so. I haven't really ever gotten any questions
No.
about it. Yeah, it's kind of one of those things that has become institutional to
Yeah.
some degree, so it's been with us for so long.
Yeah.
Is there a large percentage of students that do get NCs? I mean,
You know what?
is it a I mean, do you use it as a deterrent to keep a C and above?
Yeah, it definitely motivates kids to keep a C and above. I think the thinking years ago from the board was that the student needs to know 70% of the content really to say they're ready to move on to the next sequential course. Like a 60 isn't quite enough for this district. And I think it's where it kind of came from, like just kind of raising the bar a bit, saying, really to be ready for the next, whatever that might be, the next sequential course and that progression. 70% is the minimum. So we do have some kids that get NCs, and again, it's not something that we need to dig down real deep on because those students have plenty of room in their schedule to make it up. The students who
Unless they're
don't-
going to tech school.
unless you're in a tech school because it's just so locked. Like there's little room for error. And unfortunately, some students tend to stumble the most in their freshman year because that big transition. Listen, the courses are more rigorous, there's more homework, the exams are more difficult. It's a major progression for kids. And a lot of kids, the light switch flips on by the time they get to sophomore year and it's a different kid. And that transition is huge.
I think this is a hard one. From the standpoint of, listen, I think we want to do everything that we can because these are not IEP kids, right? Not IEPs or anything like that. Or
Could be some of them.
Oh, they could be?
Yeah, some of them could
Okay.
be, yeah.
that would actually make me feel better.
Some of them could be, yeah, there's,
okay.
and we, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
because again, I'm gonna go back to the concept of standard, which is what this is. You don't change the standard. You make accommodations for the standard. And I totally agree with you when you say, kids are sometimes they get into that freshman year and the light goes on, when they're sophomores or when they're juniors or when they're seniors. These kids are now seniors. And so it's like, okay, we've got to figure this out for you. We've got to make the accommodations where you have to step up because you're now a senior and graduating. So I get nervous about changing the standard, but like you said, if it could be accommodated, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Do you have any
it's only
questions
for
about that
two,
part?
it's only for 2 years.
Correct.
It isn't like, there's other things Dr. O'Connell and other superintendents are working on with the tech school. Like this is just to get these kids back on track.
Yeah.
So we get the other programmatic pieces in order.
Do you think there'll be any implications, with other kids? You know how kids are, like when they see,
I
you
don't think
it'll be
so.
okay?
No, I don't think, kids won't blink. I mean,
Okay,
They,
Okay.
like, every kid has a special talent, a special interest here,
Yeah.
and, yeah.
Okay.
All right, do you want us to move forward on this part of it, or
I
you
would
want to finish?
appreciate, I would
Okay,
appreciate
that's-
closing out that, because the
that's-
rest of it, I'm just gonna run through pretty quickly and share a meeting we had yesterday and let you know what we're gonna be coming back to you with at a later date, but just so you sort of know, in light of where we are, the conversations that have occurred to not be here again.
Could you just
with
read
other-
the motion one more time?
I'd be happy
Yeah,
to.
thank you.
A motion is in order to approve a temporary exception to policy 217 graduation to apply a 1 credit reduction to graduation requirements for identified seniors and juniors who also attend Upper Bucks County Technical School.
Okay.
That's a mouthful.
Any other questions from the committee?
Not on this, no. I'm good.
Okay. And the audience?
Not so much a question, maybe just an observation. I am just wondering why we can't potentially even maybe ask at the tech school, if we have so many extra credits that are given as elective type things from the tech school, would there not be things that they're learning down there that would qualify for either a math or a science credit?
Well,
From
can
what
I,
they're learning
can I
now?
just say
Sure.
that you're probably jumping ahead because we've got rest of, and I don't know, we got rest of presentation. So I'm going to ask for comments on this
Okay.
exception, whether we're going to send it to the board or not, the temporary exception, just hold the discussion just for that. And then we can let
Great.
Dr. O'Connell finish and then we can hop in. So,
I
yes.
just want to make a comment with regard to changing credits, or not just for this particular issue, but just an overall look at what the number of credits that are required and the NC issue. To me, that speaks to the rigor that Palisades, that we are very proud of, both of those things, and I would hate to see us sort of walk back. NC, we don't give Ds. My kids went to school here. I mean, it's just been forever that I am aware. And as far as our credits are concerned, that conversation happened a few years ago with folks who are, doing admissions in colleges and things like that. So again, I just think that those two pieces speak to the rigor that a Palisades education, a Palisades diploma that folks should be proud of. And I think it also speaks to the fact that our kids who go to college afterwards and are continuing into from freshman to sophomore year, our numbers are very high because they're used to rigorous programming. And I think that that's extremely important.
I agree with that, but we are also part of the tech school. And, technical education is very much a part of who Palisades is. I mean, the tech school isn't a separate entity. We are the tech school.
Yeah, I
So-
understand and I don't disagree
Yes,
with
we
that.
are.
And maybe the next part of this conversation will answer more questions.
Right.
All right. So other comments regarding the exception? Yes.
So, Dr.
Yep.
Just to make sure I have this right. So we had 30% students from 10-9 that are going to miss graduation by one
Credit deficient,
And
yeah,
they have, if I understand correctly, they need 24 and a half
correct.
core, right? And they have the opportunity of 35 and a half if they did not attend.
If they were in the homeschool full-time, they have.
It's just the homeschool.
Correct.
Oh, okay,
That's
okay,
it.
that's the part that
Yes.
I'm missing. So if they're in here brick and mortar, what is
Yeah.
that number?
How many opportunities they have?
Yes.
I can
30.
do that. They have 32 blocks, which is equal to 32 credits if they fill all of them, and they get take up to another credit and a half online. So they could have 33 and a half credits total if they maxed out their high school
Okay.
opportunity. If you're a tech school kid, when you start in ninth grade, you have 16 blocks.
Got it.
Right now, before this motion goes to the board, those kids go to tech school need 16 and a half homeschool credits to graduate. So we're asking that number really go down to 15 and a half for these juniors and seniors. And that's if they haven't stumbled along the way.
Right. And of those juniors and seniors that are attending Tech, those that are not in Tech, how many of those did not make graduation because they failed classes?
Our graduation rate in the ballpark in the low 90s, like 92, 93%.
Okay.
So,
Okay, so if we're looking at percentages, what percentage is that then?
so 92, 93% of
So
100
you're saying
kids.
7% of our students don't graduate?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
All right. Any other questions on that? So I'm going to ask as the committee,
Public report, right.
no, public, yes.
Yeah, the publicly reported graduation rates, those include the tech and brick and mortar.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then also, it goes A, B, C,
NCF.
NC. Yeah,
Mhm.
what's the difference between an NC and an
An NC is that you're eligible for summer school. So think of it as a D of old. If you fail a class entirely, summer school's not gonna make up that class. So you need to take that class over again to hit
And then when
everything.
you get an NC, why wouldn't you take it again? Or why wouldn't you take an summer, because you have other job.
Or you want to go to the beach.
Right.
So, you know, just.
Or you just, and kids could just take the class over again too, if they have time in their room or a room in their schedule to do that.
Is summer school online or is that brick and mortar?
It's online, but we offer face-to-face support where a student would take the course online and then there would essentially be office hours manned by our teachers. Michael coordinates that, where we have somebody that's coordinating English support, math support, those kind of things in the building, so that if their students struggle, they can come in and get help.
But the basic structure of the class is online, and they
Correct.
can do that anytime, like there? or
Well, there's a
is
window,
this
like a
window?
6-week window
Yeah.
that they have to get it done within.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's not a certain time of the day?
No,
like
they can do it at midnight if they want to.
Okay. But they do have to pay for that out of their
Correct.
pocket. I mean, that's not the district's.
Correct.
Okay.
For the kids that you were just talking about, Saul was asking about, who don't graduate, and they're not at the tech, they're here at the home school. Do we change things for them?
No.
They may stay an extra year, so we have a 4-year graduation rate and a 5-year graduation rate, so their cohort's different, but many would come back for that extra year.
Is there a stipulation that these students that we're giving this temporary relief to, do they have to pass the NOTS? I mean, because there's qualifications at the tech school in order for them to graduate, correct? I mean, don't they
They
have
have to
to?
get the credits from tech school.
From the tech school.
to make
To
up.
transfer back
Yes.
here,
Yeah.
right? And most of the students that go to tech, because you're talking about graduation, there's so many layers to this and so many pieces.
Yeah.
So Act 158 is a real thing. Most of our technical school students meet the Act 158 CTC pathway, exactly as you said, Corey, either through like passing a NOCD or
Certifications.
being involved in a shop, being employed full-time upon graduation. So when you look at how, and we do phenomenal with our Act 158 completers. It's off the charts and it just says career, community, or college ready. Students have 5 different ways.
So we're assuming that these 3 students that we're talking about, that's all good as
They're
far
gonna
as
be
the tech
fine.
school is
Yeah,
concerned.
they just need help with the academic core that Dr. O'Connell spoke
Okay.
to. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That's,
They're in good standing in tech
Yeah.
school to even be in the senior year over there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, so I'm going to ask, do we have a committee recommendation to move this forward to the board for next week?
Absolutely. for me.
Yes?
I'm gonna abstain because my kid's in the tech school.
Okay.
But is he a senior or a junior?
He's a junior
Oh.
and he's one of the 13.
Okay.
Oh.
We
You didn't need to
we
share
didn't
that.
need, we didn't need
Yeah.
full disclosure. It's
No.
fine. But nice that Cora beat it out of you,
Yeah.
so, you know.
Yeah, her cane's right there.
So I'm gonna go with it because you're making the recommendation for these 3 students, and I don't know these 3 students, and I don't know their specifics and things like that. But I will tell you, in my heart, I worry about all kids.
Yep.
And like the kids like you were talking about who don't go to the tech and
Yep.
they have to go another year, or could these 3 have done something in the summer and not go to the beach or something? I just want to be, but I don't know the kids, so I'm
Sure.
And our main
Yeah,
thing
I'm
too
trusting you to make
is
that.
that we don't want these kids quitting school.
Yeah, right,
And we
no,
don't, you
right,
know, and
no,
we also
right,
don't
I
want
don't.
them leaving and going to charter school,
Right,
you know,
right,
because that's a concern too. So, you know, we want to do everything we can to keep them here, to tech school, or whatever their career path is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we've
Thank
got
you.
recommendation to
Yes.
move forward. Now, you
Yeah,
can,
okay,
you can
great.
finish.
So, yesterday we had an awesome Veterans Day event. Thank you for being there. Thank you for being there. Thank you for being there for your service. And since many of the districts, well, we were all here anyway, we got together with Upper Bucks County Technical School, so Mike Herrera, Dan Cullen, and then assistant superintendents from Penridge, Quakertown, Palisades. We all met in the conference room and talked through these items and other items, because while our first issue that we just spent some time talking about is a Palisades issue, all of the sending schools had a really good conversation about these other items. And I want to say that the 4 entities working together, we're committed to continue having these conversations because it affects all of us. And we'll come back and share with you where we've gotten on some of these items, and others were added during our conversation. It was a very collaborative meeting. I feel like there's a lot of common ground. you know, all groups want what's best for kids and that they graduate with their peers. So it was a really good meeting. So I share that I just want to go through what we talked about and know that it's going to come back. None of these are set in stone, need board approval at this point. Michael, can you go back up? We're not even on 2 yet. So the first part needed board action. The second, adjust Upper Bucks County Technical School placement for sophomores and freshmen that are on a path not to graduate with their peers due to credit deficiencies, on a path not to be program completers in their program area, whether they're not meeting task list expectations, they're moving programs around. We've talked a lot about the on-ramp to the technical school, 9th grade, 10th grade, junior year, whatever it may be, but not much of an off-ramp from the tech school if you need to come back for a little bit of time to make up your credits. So, you know, if we know that there are freshmen that we're concerned about, they may come back here for a year and then they can go back to the technical school to secure their skills. So a lot of conversation about what that off-ramp and then on-ramp again may look like. Use a set of indicators of success with an IEP team, if applicable, of course, for placements of students coming out of 8th grade and requesting to attend the technical school as freshmen. There are freshmen that are there that are doing a phenomenal job, and they're going to be successful, and they are going to meet their credit requirements here, and they're going to meet them at the technical school. There are some coming out of 8th grade that we took a look at this data, are seniors and juniors that we were just talking about. We went back and looked at their 8th grade PSSA scores, MAP tests, teacher recommendations on workplace readiness, all of these types of indicators.
Days absent.
Days absent from school. And looking back, we could predict with some confidence where students may be if they went in their freshman year. So if there were, right now, any 9th grader that wants to go can go, but we're going to take a look at what those sort of indicators of success may be. That maybe the freshman year, they stay with us, get those credits secured, and then go as sophomores. And there are some freshmen that will be able to go to the technical school and be successful right off the bat. So that's a difference, but it's not no freshmen. It's let's take a look at sort of what they're coming out of 8th grade with, and is freshman year the most appropriate or sophomore year the most appropriate?
And you're gonna have standards, that you're not just gonna, you know, there's gonna be some criteria.
Absolutely.
Because there might be a student who wants to go in the 9th grade and you
Yes.
say no to, you have to be able to justify.
Absolutely. And it
Okay.
could be an IEP team decision. It could be just a holistic look team decision with the parent and the student to say, we really feel based on what you're coming out of 8th grade, you would really benefit from one transition to the homeschool instead of 2 transitions in the same year and, you know, start your sophomore year.
But
Or-
if the 8th grader really wants to go and their parents really want them to go and you don't feel that they're really ready to go, they still can do the application process and be looked at.
Sure.
Seriously.
And I think those conversations,
Because we don't want to stop anybody from, the parents know the students best, and, you know, if they really feel that, you know, like the one student, Rich, that we were talking about, whose father has a shop, and, you know, he knew from the time he was a kid in elementary school that he wanted to do what his father does. So, you know, that type of thing, we don't want to stop that kind of.
So that conversation would say there are concerns. And if we go as freshmen, if this family, you know, decides to go as a freshman, then if there is an NC or if a student, then there needs to be a commitment, then that there will be credit recovery. Like there needs to be a commitment to be able to do that.
I get that.
Maybe it means they might have to come back at sophomore year.
Perhaps, and then they could go back their junior year. So I think those are the conversations with families that we need to have.
So are they able to take English or math online? I mean, or is it just the extracurricular?
They don't take those online.
They can't take those online. They have to have them here.
Let me add, in the freshman and the sophomore year, when the students tend to stumble the most with those English or math
Yeah.
courses, we don't offer an online English or math course for
None,
sophomores and freshmen. For juniors and seniors, we offer online English 11, online English 12, but those students are much more suited and ready for that type of learning. We
I
purposefully
get that.
don't offer online English 9 or online English 10 or online Algebra 1.
Yeah.
We just don't for our freshmen and sophomores. They're
So-
better suited for those rigorous face-to-face academic core classes.
So we probably should have a conversation about this at another time where we can get into it in more length. But just to, I think it would be helpful for Jim and I to better, well, Jim would know better than me because his son's in tech school, but to understand what that 9th and 10th grade schedule would look like. I mean, because they go in the morning, correct? 9th
So
and
that's another
10th
thing
graders
that, yeah,
go to-
and these are all, like, I want to hear them so we can address them. That was another conversation we had yesterday. It's not on this list, but it was shared by Quakertown and Penridge, maybe more so Quakertown. But having the technical school just lock into you're an AM or you go in the PM, like it should be able to be go when it works for you or go when, you
The
know,
schedule allows.
correct.
But then again, the PM is the older kids.
Level
So,
3 usually in the co-op kids.
Mhm.
yeah, because they would be, yeah, you're looking at some major,
That's what we're doing here and there, and at Quakertown and Penridge. So that's why the 4 entities are coming together to talk through what our pressure points are and how do we address them sort of as a team.
and we all have to recognize that we are part of the team. And I think sometimes, you know, that kind of gets lost in the shuffle.
Yeah,
And we think, oh, we're Palisades, they're tech school. We're not. We are all, we're all tech school, you know?
Yeah.
Right, Jim?
So to just make sure that I understand and to try to help us move along here, you're giving us an overview
Correct.
of the items that you've identified that you're working on with all of the sending schools. And then you'll be
we'll come
giving
back.
us, coming back with that
Yeah.
information saying, hey, this is what
Yeah.
we're recommending, how it's gonna work. Then we can more in-depthly hit the questions because you'll actually know
Mhm.
what you're presenting.
Yep.
And then we'll know where our questions are coming from.
But thank you, but I certainly wanted to share, you know, the conversations.
Yeah,
that
no,
we had.
thank you, yeah.
First one, again, those first 3, just to ensure our students that attend the technical school graduate with their peers. And these are 3 recommendations to make that happen. The second part, ensure that Palisades students have a clear understanding of and are provided with opportunities at the high school and the technical school to meet whatever their post-secondary goals are. So we even heard, you know, our AP teachers offering some early, you know, entry-level AP classes their freshman and sophomore year. Who knows what that'll spark in kids and what they may be interested in. So one of them, I'm just going to go through quickly, align delivery of high school program presentations to 8th grade students. So currently, we've had technical school presentations as early as September, early October, but we don't start talking with our 8th graders until January about program placement and what the opportunities are here and what they are at the technical school. So we're looking to, and this is across sending schools and again, talking with the technical school yesterday, but aligning that to the January presentations for both the homeschool and the technical school with course request process beginning in early to mid-February. So aligning that.
When do they start the visiting?
I think there's an open house this week or next week.
Tomorrow's the
At the-
open house.
at the
Yeah.
open house, yes.
And
But
the
the
eighth graders went on the 31st of October.
Yeah,
When the 8th graders visit.
yeah.
The tech
So that
school.
would be moved.
Because I know
Right.
each one of the districts do different times.
Yep.
So they visit in October.
This year they visited in October.
In
Yeah.
October.
And those 8th graders barely know what 8th grade is.
Right.
They have no idea- And they have no idea what high school is.
Yeah.
Right.
And the question is, like, if we're providing the full picture to our kids and to their parents, let's not have a kid, and you know how 8th graders are, 10th graders are to say, like, once a kid gets their mind set, it's tough for a parent to move them off of that but give them all their options at the same time and then have them work through it.
Families can talk through it. Yep. Clarify for Palisade students which programs at Upper Bucks can be completed in 2 years, not including co-op or work-based experience. We know COS is a 3-year. So we've heard conversations with our guidance counselors, as have our other sending districts. Students will say, can I go there for 2 years? Can I go there for 3 years? Is there even a 1-year program? 1 year, not so much. Maybe, I think that would be exciting if there was. But can I go for 2 years? What are those programs that you can go to the technical school and meet competence or meet your task list in 2 years? Because there may be students that want to do an engineering course and then pop over to the technical school to do mechatronics for 2 years. Right now, the mindset is it's a 4-year program. Things are 4-year programs. So just to clarify that for our students and our guidance counselors, so then working with students, or maybe you want to go 2 years for one program area and then 2 more years in another program area. 2 years.
I think that's what we talked about when we decided to make it eligible for 9th graders, because that was one of the things
It's
that.
become it's become a 4-year program. So I think if again, we know CAUSE is a 3-year program, but if we knew, baking can be a 2-year program. A student may want to go their freshman and sophomore year to baking and then come back and take world language or take, AP, the courses we're talking about. So just clarifying that for folks. Emphasize for Palisade students what their senior year could look like according to policy 217. So in policy right now, upon successful completion of their core and elective requirements, part-time status senior year, if lawfully employed part-time, may we work 5 days a week and or enrolled part-time, that's the credits, in post-secondary institutions. So I know when you're a freshman, senior year seems so far away, but in talking with parents and students to say, if you meet your credit requirements and you're looking to start work early, you can do that by policy. I know co-op at Upper Bucks, I think is 4 days a week for co-op, but we'll get into all that. But there are opportunities here for students to work their senior year if they choose to. And 4th year of high school is not required for graduation if a student is enrolled full-time in post-secondary institution. So that's in policy as well. And I think to share with folks that those two are options. Explore additional high school and post-secondary elective opportunities offered in person and online. This works well with our comprehensive plan discussions that we've had. So that fits right in. This one, we'll see where this goes, but explore the opportunity to employ a cooperative education teacher that can facilitate co-op placements for Upper Bucks students and support students in shadow intern experience for our career pathway program. So this position would benefit both our kids in medical career pathway, business career pathway, students that are at the technical school. What I shared yesterday, when we were meeting with that group, is a student that's a senior that's in co-op at the technical school is in their co-op placement 4 days of the week and then back in their shop 1 day a week, but that takes a spot and that takes a seat from a student at Palisades who's a freshman that may want to go there. So if we were able, if we were able to work something in that regard, then that student would come back to the homeschool with our coordinator, and then we have another slot available for another Palisades student that may want to go. There you go.
Okay, so you're discussing all this.
We're discussing all this. If you have other ideas,
Quakertown, Penridge, and
the technical school.
tech school.
4 entities coming together.
Okay, how often are you meeting?
We just met for the first time we meet often, but I'm saying focused on
This.
As you know, there's a lot happening at the technical school that each group comes, like the superintendents meet, and then the assistant superintendent, and then the principals meet, and then, but all hands on deck for these conversations.
On that last one, Lisa does a phenomenal job at the tech
She was
school.
at the meeting too.
Was she?
She was.
Okay,
Yeah,
because
she
she does a phenomenal job. And I just see so many opportunities with our cohorts, with, the 3 districts, with the tech school. I like that you're, pulling them together because we should work more closely with, because maybe somebody can take a class at Quakertown that they could fit in, that they can't take here, vice versa, Quakertown students here. There's so many opportunities between the 3 districts, like you were saying about how Penridge and Quakertown are larger schools, so they have different schedules and it's easier for the kids to. So let's be united and really work and, you know, bring Lisa in and
She
get
was
her.
there yesterday.
Yeah.
And
get her.
Quakertown does have 2 of these positions in their home district, so.
They've been doing a lot with, I forget what the program is called, but starting from kindergarten on, looking at career opportunities and trying to get the kids looking at that. And I know Mike has a deal with the Myers-Briggs and, you know, so there's just so
There
much that we can be doing and, you know, we can't lose our tech kids.
No one wants to.
Right? Just want to make sure.
All right, any other questions from committee members? Karen, you good?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Open it up to the public, yes? Linda?
Okay, again, I don't know if it's a question as much as maybe a suggestion, something to think about. So this is not the first time that I've mentioned this, but I'll mention it again. When I hear the problem with scheduling, and this was the comment from the student at the comprehensive plan meeting, is the struggle with scheduling to get the courses that they need. So when we talk about credits and we say that there's the potential for 32 credits to graduate, I don't know if everybody understands that. I know I didn't understand that until just recently. When we do the block scheduling, they're talking about 4 classes first semester, 4 classes second semester. They want to give a credit to each of those classes. That's 8 credits in that year in the block scheduling over 4 years. That gives you the 32. I'm curious how many students take advantage of that, how many students don't. I'd be curious. Many of them, I imagine, have a study hall. We hear a lot about, you know, study hall. I'm curious the size of our study halls, or the ones that have the morning off or the afternoon off kind of thing and have late arrival or early departure. So when I would like us to think outside the box, and whether this is investigating, whether there's a professional out there that we could hire to come in and look at this subject with us. I would like to see us maybe try a blend of these things, or again, go back to the other scheduling. If they have a 6-course day that goes the whole year, to me, that looks like they have more opportunities in their day to fill in with class time. I just think that makes more sense. But I would want to hear from another professional regarding that. And, you know, when you look at the 90-minute class time and you're given a credit for 135 hours versus, you know, the full year at 180, that's a significant difference to me, but it's put on the scale equal. So those are just my comments.
Okay. Great, thank you. Yes, Tom.
I just need to be clear, with the kids who are able to, who are here, who have 32 opportunities, so that gives them opportunity for AP classes, other electives, you know, early arrival, you know, or early dismissal of those.
Our career
right?
pathway could be go out to the
Career
other
pathways, all of those other options. Okay. The kids who are starting in 9th grade at the tech school, did I hear you say that they still have to take a half of credit online?
They must take a half credit
Yeah,
online.
the financial literacy,
and
right?
not failing.
Or
it
not
could be
make-
PE.
It could be,
health.
Okay.
it could be financial ed, online
Okay.
PE or health.
Okay, that's what I thought you
Those are
said,
all
I just
fine.
wanted to be clear. Thank
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
thank you.
All right. Yes, Mr. Ramos.
Dr. Paul, you brought up a point, and I'm gonna go back again. We have students in our high school right now that are part of a work study program. Am I saying it correctly?
It's a co-op.
So here,
Yes.
so we do have students here at the homeschool that are part of our career pathway program that could go out on internships. The co-op program that's currently run out at the technical school is different. I mean, that's, I would say if you're an HVAC, then you're working maybe with Cooper Mechanical.
Sure.
So I'm not quite,
familiar with that, but I'm
Okay.
curious what's done here at ours high school.
go ahead.
Yeah, so within our career pathway programs, we have we call them field experiences.
Sure.
It's the teacher working with local business partners, get students to go out and basically shadow or learn about that job or job like. It's nothing close to a co-op. It's not on-the-job experience. It's really just exposure to a career at a given place of business. The greatest one, the most successful, the most prevalent ones that you may hear about, our medical career pathway program. We have a phenomenal relationship with the Lehigh Valley Hospital. They make 4 or 5 trips a year up to the hospital where they do tours. They talk with different people in careers, in addition to the once a week seminars with professionals and others in varied career paths within that hospital. Business career pathway program, a lot of shadow type of experience, but nothing like a co-op where it's an extended period of time, where they're learning a skill or they're practicing a certain career. They're just getting exposure to careers. So it's
So they don't get paid?
So the reason why.
no, they're only there a couple times a year. Like a co-op is totally different.
And that's a special certification that you
Yeah.
would need to be able to oversee a co-op
The
program.
reason why I bring that up, in my experience, through my high school years, we had a work-study program where if you were a senior, you went to school half the day, and then you did the work-study program and got credit, and you worked with your counselor.
Yep.
To see, hey, your grades are at this point, I see this is where you're heading your career path. They help you find and/or you locate a job. And then for that second half of the day, or first, that doesn't matter, but most of the time, or second half of the day, you would go to that job. And you would also get a report back from the employer that would give you more of, I guess my aperture was bigger, to give you more experience about, hey, do I really want to do this for the rest of my life? So I love the fact that we're doing that, but the work-study program that I was involved with in school was a great opportunity for me to dip my toes into an area that's like, you know what, I think I might like this. I received credit for it, and I worked with my guidance counselor. And it's something that didn't pop up in your senior year. You worked on it in your sophomore, junior year before your senior year.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
And I think that's where Dr. O'Connell's getting
Yeah.
to, with looking at, to your point, Saul, looking at the possibilities, right? Like if we can move in that direction and have a co-op teacher, we could do those things that you're suggesting there.
And I know yours was with your guidance counselor, so I'm not sure, I mean, it sounds very similar.
Right. And there was a teacher, I recall also, that had other things that they would teach us. So this our particular teacher, and unfortunately, we don't have shop classes here anymore in the high school, which we could get back.
Yeah.
But he was a shop teacher.
Yep.
And one of the classes, you would go to his class and he go, all right, who's where? And then we'd all share our experiences, which was great. It just shared with the rest of your fellow students there of what you were doing. But the career path allows that individual before they go into college or before they go there. It's like, hey, I just want to dip my toes in the field and see what's going on.
And that's what's been so amazing about, I would say, the medical career pathway, in that we love hearing when students go through that program and say, I do not want to be a nurse. I had no idea they did that. I nearly passed out, but I'm interested in remaining in healthcare. I don't like what? I thought I would be fine with it, but I want to stay in the computer science, or I'm interested in HR. And so that's the value of that. And we have,
Gives them a taste.
Yeah.
Little taste.
And we have good work that we could do in that area too, so.
I just want to make one more comment.
Okay.
I wanted to commend you guys on looking at the way that 8th graders receive information from the tech school together with the programs offered, so that they get a full picture of what is available to them, not just it in pieces. So thanks for that.
Yeah, I just want to throw out that, as always, I so deeply appreciate you guys identified a problem, you're jumping on it, you're figuring out the solution, you're coming here telling us you're doing it, and then we're giving you all this stuff of, you're already ahead of us, okay? So thank you for being ahead of us. Thank you for having patience with us, with all the questions, so we do what we're supposed to be doing. But yes, I think this is awesome. Everything that you've outlined here, I think is great, and I look forward to
Yeah,
what the overall outcome is.
we'll report back. Thank
So,
you.
all right, thank
Just
you
make
very
sure
much.
the other schools tell their boards that they're doing this, because we got an email at the tech school, I forget who sent it, about, the schools are trying to pull back the ninth graders.
Yeah, so,
So that's not what you're doing.
correct.
It's making sure the students have the opportunity to get the credits they need.
That's right.
Okay.
So this was shared at the meeting yesterday. So, Quakertown was there. They, I think, started this conversation last week, perhaps. Penridge hasn't, I don't think, had a formal conversation about this, but all the districts and the technical schools saw this and added to it. So I think there's a common sheet that we're all singing from at this point.
So, and I'll just throw out that always in our society as a whole, when you get a piece of information and then people run with that,
Yeah.
is where all of a sudden so much time and energy can be wasted. Instead of going back and making sure that I just get a piece of that information or I get all of that information. And like I said, I mean, that goes with every aspect of our life, but I think especially as, board members, we always need to sort of focus on that. So, all right, thank you very much. Next, we have a discussion about the planned instructional policies. This was brought up at our last meeting, and it was asked, these are policies that are going to be brought up at the policy committee, but this committee wanted the chance to review them and possibly give recommendations. Those were asked if anybody had any, to send them to Dr. Donnelly prior to the meeting, just so that he could sort of, accumulate them and look for any common threads. As of our discussion, he did not receive any, so we decided to put it on the discussion here just to make sure that everybody had the opportunity to say something, but not looking for this to be a very long discussion. So does anybody have a comment on any of the policies that are to be brought up at policy? I'll start with
These are board policies. I'm assuming you have administrative policies of some sort that go over the curriculums?
Yeah, I think
The core statements?
our policy discussion was at our last policy meeting to look at the policies and if there were any, I'm saying policies every other word, but
Yeah.
are there changes
Yeah.
to policy?
It was looking at these two
Yeah.
sheets, and is there anything
Right.
you want changed?
Yeah, and so I'm the one who initiated this, and so, and part of that is because, I mean, continuous improvement around curriculum is, my thing and my passion, but I don't, in retrospect, any changes or any recommendations or revisions in the policy, I believe, should come from probably the two of you. Because you're gonna drive the process of creating curriculum.
Yeah.
But I think it was a good idea, to at least open it up that this committee would take a look at it, and it sort of forced us, So I applaud the idea, and that's why we, talked about it for these two meetings. It's just important to me that we, stay focused, that's all. So, all right, so does this committee have anything that they want to say? I will quick open it up to the public if there's anything on these two policies, and these will be brought up at the policy committee, so you also have the opportunity to go there and discuss them. So, all right, moving on, informational.
Yeah, just two quick items for this evening. First, comprehensive plan. As we know, the comprehensive plan is well underway. We've identified our action planning committees. We thank members of the public and our teaching and faculty staff and all of our staff members who volunteered to participate. So we have those three areas that were identified by the steering committee: academic achievement, engagement, and operations. And so Rich and Scott Davis will be working with the subcommittee on mission and vision. And then I will be co-chairing academic achievement with Mrs. Colley and Mr. Adams. So that email went out this morning to folks who are on that committee or subcommittee. And likewise, the other subcommittees should have that information going out as well. And we'll continue working through that. And in January, the steering committee comes back. We'll give another brief update here at EPS, and we'll make a more robust presentation in February. So things are moving along full steam ahead. And then the last thing is really exciting, and I wasn't able to put it on board docs for copyright infringement. I don't want to go to jail yet, or really ever. But what's really, really exciting, and we'll be, I believe we'll be recognizing these two folks in December at the board meeting, is once again, Dylan Fidel, who's one of our phenomenal teachers, along with, ironically, a student also named Dylan, who's currently a junior, co-authored an article which was published in a national peer-reviewed science journal called Technology and Engineering Education. So they worked together to do a research project on 3D printed model rockets in secondary engineering. So it's pretty cool to be able to say, hey, I'm a junior in high school and I'm published in this national magazine, which is really, really neat. So I want to kudos and applaud them for working together and for having that move forward. And with that said, I'm done.
That is awesome. Okay. Our next scheduled meeting is going to be January 14th. So happy holidays, everybody. We will not be meeting before then. And I'll just open it up if there's any, well, start with the committee first. Anything that the committee wants to say? Quickly, no?
I think I said it all.
Okay. And then I'll open it up to the audience if there's any comments that anybody would like to make.
Your insights in looking at the VOTEC versus the homeschool. I know this is something dear to me because of what I do, what my son has done, is in the tech school offering technology side for IT and being able to do something in the IT, which would then start in the VOTEC to take you on through college. I don't see a meshing right now for programs that are out there when you're going to RIT, MIT, some of the other technology schools that help them get in that pathway. Although most certainly there should be. It's 5-year programs that they offer for masters, computer sciences and engineering combined together. At the homeschool, if we can give them some of leg up on some of that, they can succeed. My son went into a program, there was only 3 students at RIT. And in his career path, he's been in for 13 years now, that is very much sought after at a national level. So there's a huge gap right now in some of that. And this area of the country, as in southeastern Pennsylvania, has been producing the majority of those people. But we're missing a boat on something.
Well, spoiler alert, next year will be AP Cyber, as just an example, will be AP Cybersecurity, and the year after, a new course, which we could review if we wish, is AP Networking. So that idea of really then establishing in homeschools the opportunity for students to become introduced to tech fields in a little bit more of an approachable fashion, so it's not as scary. So
There was a cybersecurity, I don't know the exact, at the tech school that just started last year, was it?
Yeah, I think it
2
was
years ago?
I
Yeah,
think
last
it's-
year. Yeah, in networking and cybersecurity.
Yeah, no, good points. So,
And we've had first-year students in that area who went out on the co-op because industry wanted those. So first-year students out on the co-op, that's.
Which
I have 4 companies that do work for, and they're starving right now for those people.
Yeah.
that's great. All right,
We'll
any
get
other
'em there.
any
We'll
other
get 'em.
comments? All right, we're adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.